Hello, and welcome to another episode of Blackboard Rants. I'm Tyler.
And I'm John.
And today, we are doing Tabasco. I know we did this before.
Well, I did it before.
Yeah, well, you did it before, but I didn't do it before because I wasn't here.
We had a guest host with me that episode.
Yes, Sir Kyle Kupski.
Yep. So, now we got, you gotta try it.
Yep. One of the most common Tabasco sauces when people think of it. Actually, no, I think I just said what Kyle said before. Whatever.
Yeah.
This is my favorite type of hot sauce here. Very vinegary. It's got that. Ooh, very
Put
good
it
stuff.
on your eggs in the morning.
Don't put it on your nuts, so because I spilled something on me. So.
All right.
So. Wow. That went up the rub. Wow. Ooh. That went right up my nose.
Sorry for the silence there, but
Oh, wow.
it went down the wrong way.
Oh, wow.
Did you notice what Kyle and I noticed about a little bit of a musty flavor?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Which we talked about. You don't notice when you...
Eat it on the food.
yeah.
Right.
Ooh. Hit me a little hard today.
Again, it's like I got that hot flavor
Ooh.
in the back of my throat, and for some reason it travels up my ear. I don't know why. Wow. Okay. So let's see how long we can last.
My eyes got a little watery.
Oh, mine a little bit too. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is your review of the brand spanking new Daredevil series that came out yesterday at midnight, or this morning at midnight. So
No. It was
yesterday. Yesterday at midnight. So Thursday at midnight, with land to Friday. So
Yeah.
tell us about it.
Well, first of all, I haven't finished the whole series yet. I have a life. I have 3 episodes left out of 13. So I only watched 10 yesterday. I only watched...
Oh, there you go.
I only sat in front of the...
Or at least you didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I only sat there for 10 hours watching it. But I'm really digging it so far. They're starting off with him in that black costume that Frank Miller used and was used in the trial for the Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. They're making his powers really grounded. I was telling you about the fight scenes where it's taking everything out of him, and he'll do a big drop kick, but then he'll lay there on the floor like gasping for air because he's a person.
Right.
His superpowers aren't physical; they're his senses. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other thing, the bad guys react in a more realistic way because I told you, they get up. You don't just hit them once and then they're knocked out and
Right.
done with. So I like that realistic approach they're taking. They don't have them jumping off the buildings and everything. They don't show that.
Right.
They do have him throw a guy off a building, though. That's pretty cool. I really like the way they're handling the Kingpin, because you see him as menacing like he is in the comics and the cartoons and everything, but also you're seeing him as having a vulnerable side.
Right.
You're also getting to see his origin story along with that of Daredevil. They're doing nice little Easter eggs, like a hint to the original, or the costume that Kingpin usually wears. They kind of make fun of that in a story, which is the white suit and the purple ascot, and then the Kingpin says, "Well, that would be a bit much," you know.
Right.
You got tears rolling down.
Yeah. Wow. That hot
Maybe
sauce
we should
really
have
hit
eaten
me.
some lunch first or something.
I know, right?
First thing you have in the day is
Ooh.
some
Shot of
hot sauce.
Wow. I don't recommend it.
So yeah, it's really flowing nicely, and
Right.
you can get into it and watch the whole thing. And like I said, you get almost 13 hours of it, which
Right.
that's got to be more than we've gotten of Iron Man so far.
Yeah, true.
And that was the first Marvel movie, so it's a lot better than Agents of Shield.
Yep.
It's a lot more focused on where it's going, what it's doing, and the production value just looks so much better. I just don't know why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can't have better production. Looking at you with that one tear running down your cheek.
I'm so excited for the series. I'm so excited. I'm crying.
So I highly recommend it. I'm guessing you're going to be watching...
Yes, I am. After I'm done crying about it.
You're going to be watching quite a bit of it in the next few days, I'm guessing.
I hope so.
I'm not really excited for Jessica Jones because I don't know much about that character.
Right, me neither. I didn't even know of this character.
But the way they're handling this, it's kind of getting me excited for that. And it's definitely getting me excited for if Daredevil's going to make a cameo somewhere in Age of Ultron or in the Civil War.
That'd be pretty sweet. I can see him being in Civil War, but I don't know about Age of Ultron because it might be so soon. But I mean, who knows? I mean, they released all 13 episodes, so you have a chance to get to know the character, and then who knows? Maybe we're watching Age of Ultron, all of a sudden, oh my God, it's Daredevil!
Yeah.
So you never know.
You should watch it. I mean, I'm not a guy selling things. I'm just saying, man, you should watch it.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is I didn't even know this movie existed, but a good buddy of mine, Andy Borderman, aka Borno, he was talking about Tron. Me, him, and both of our ladies were out to eat, and then he goes, "Oh hey, Tron 3's coming out." I was like, "Oh yeah, I heard about that." He goes, "Oh hey, we should watch it." Okay, cool. And I was thinking of the Tron Legacy that we were gonna watch. No, there was this movie from 1982, and it's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about this. I didn't know that. And lo and behold, Jeff Bridges was on there. Clue made an appearance for like a minute. Got absorbed by the master computer. And it was boring. It's kind of boring to me. I mean,
you didn't know it existed.
I didn't know it existed. Oh, excuse me. Wow, that made me sound like I was gurgling there for a second. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't know it existed. The pacing was okay until he got into the virtual world, and it was kind of slow for me.
Yeah.
And towards the end,
it's a slow movie.
Yeah, and towards the end, all he had was like a piece of paper with 4 lines of words, and it's like, seriously, that's it? I mean, it couldn't. I mean, yeah, he gets a whole company at the end of it, but really, all that bullshit where he could have just went in there, just typed 4 words and 4 lines, and be like, "Hey, I found this," blah blah blah. You didn't. But I was kind of disappointed.
Tron is important because it was the first movie to use computer-generated imagery. They did matte paintings and stuff with it too, but it was the first to use CG.
Right. And maybe that's the reason why the storyline went so slow, because people, in 1982 were like,
you're being
"Oh
amazed
my God!"
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it had to be simplistic. It probably couldn't have been too complicated, probably as they wanted it to be. But yeah, whatever. That's not my business.
I never remember being a huge fan of Tron.
Right.
But being amazed by it because, as you know, I'm much older than you, and
Don't hate yourself.
it was a long time before we saw anything like Jurassic Park, which just blew you away.
Right.
I just showed you the computer graphics that were used in the Last Starfighter.
Yep.
Which was the first time an entire scene was composed of computer.
Right.
So that was only 2 years after Tron.
Right.
So you can see the leaps that they were making.
Right.
It's just that we didn't get no CGI dinosaurs until later.
But look how bad the ships were looking, man. Well, I guess for that time it was really good. But now with us and having the luxury of having awesome graphics these days, it's...
That's what I mean. I remember a time when that was the top of the line, and it was, oh my God, amazing.
Right.
So I get to still have more respect for that kind of stuff, I think, than
right. Exactly. And as I mentioned before, Tron 3 is coming out. What's her name? Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde are returning for their roles in this one. I don't know about Jeff Bridges. We really don't know too much about it. You know, I'm not too huge into Tron, and as you said, neither are you. So I mean, we really don't know too much about it. But, yeah, Tron, 82 version, pretty slow.
Yeah, Kyle got the 20th anniversary. No, wouldn't have been. Maybe it was 25th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
DVD release of it, completely remastered and everything. And he, after he watched it, he's like, I forgot how slow that movie is.
Right.
And he's only watched it that one time. He was so excited to get it because he remembered it from being a kid, and then it was so slow.
Right. And I really wouldn't recommend this to a first-time viewer. I mean, I remember Tron Legacy not really getting too much into it, and I mean, not dipping too much into the first movie to where you have to watch it and then get into Tron Legacy, you know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah. So, next thing, Superman comics. I just got done watching Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and I told you that I really didn't like it too much. Christopher Reeve, you know, he was great. He was really good. And you mentioned that the budget wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, how Gene Hackman say it? Nuclear Man.
Nuclear
Man.
Nuclear Man.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of him was really good, but the fight scenes just weren't there for me. Just so slow. They were fine away.
Give me the girl or I will hurt people.
Fine. I'll give her the girl. She's inside here. Follow me. And he runs away. It's like, all right, whatever. Yeah, and after that, I really want to get into more of a Superman story. As I told you, my feelings of Superman really changed. When I was younger, I really didn't like Superman because he's the most invincible being in the universe, in the galaxy. I mean,
you got to have a good writer to handle Superman.
Right, and the only way that somebody can relate to him is the human side of him, which I think they did a decent job in the Man of Steel, and I really hope they keep exploring that in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. I really hope they do. But some Superman storylines that I really want to kind of dip into is we talked about Injustice, Cosmos. Mm-hmm. There's 2 volumes of graphic novels, and some people who don't know what we're talking about, Superman takes over the world and rules in his image, and Batman, being the vigilante that he is trying to stop him and trying to make him realize that, hey, this isn't the right way. And there's another storyline of Superman called Earth 1. I really don't know too much about it, but I mean, me and you talked about this before, you know, just kind of like find something, as you know, like this, Volume 1, Earth 1, Earth 1, Volume 1. I'm just going to get into that just for the hell of it, just because that's a starting point for me right now.
Yeah, and Superman and Superboy are so integral to the universe, because the whole New 52 started because Superboy Prime punched the universe and shattered it. And that's actually how you get to the New 52.
Really?
From the old continuity, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you got to have Superman in your DC universe, otherwise you don't get the New 52.
Right, true.
And yeah, the Superman stories, some of them, you know, they were just so goofy back in the day.
Right.
But then there's some good ones.
Gee, Lois.
There are some Elseworlds ones, like the Injustice.
Yeah, okay.
There's also one, Red Sun, which is what happened if Superman's ship had crashed in Russia instead of Kansas. So he's like raised by the Soviet government as like, this is the ultimate man, communist, you know. He's like a symbol for communism in that one. There was another one where he crashed in England. And just the difference between what he would have been there versus here. So you get some good Elseworld stories like that besides, you know, just the great mythology. You know, like I said, Superman's integral in every big DC event.
Right.
And then you get his big stories like his death and resurrection.
Yep.
Which, those were some of my favorite Superman stories because they came out at the time when I was really into comics, so.
Right, then all of a sudden, like, oh my god, one of the most powerful superheroes died.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
But that was at the same time they broke Batman's back, and
Yeah, so
they were
breaking him.
They were doing it for gimmicks,
Right.
but it still had an emotional. Even though you knew he was coming back and everything, it was just you got to find out what would happen if Superman died.
Right.
Even though he was coming back and you knew it, but
yeah, and like I said before, I was finding it really, really hard for me to connect with the character of Superman because of him being so powerful. And like you say, you need not, I don't know about great, but really good writer to handle him. And the only way to do that, I think, is kind of through his humanity, through his human side. With him being vulnerable as a human, but yet he's so powerful. So, and that's why I hope that this Earth One it kind of covers, and so that's what I'm expecting out of it. And anything else you want to talk about Superman?
Some of the Superman stories, his powers just get to me. Like, well, why didn't he just move at the speed of light and stop that and that and that and that before they even happened?
And didn't they just give him a new power to where he can just like take all of the energy in his body and just like, and
some kind of new power. I'm not sure what it is, but you got to they depower him every now and then then they just build up new powers again.
Quickly, so. Didn't they, especially in the Death of Superman, don't they quickly mention how Superman was working with a great physicist or something like that to where they kind of figured out where he's kind of like a big battery, and the more power that he uses, the more drained he gets. And that's kind of how he died, was because he was fighting Doomsday so hard that his battery pretty much drained and he was kind of like in a coma. Isn't that kind of the theory of how he died, or don't you know on the top of your head?
I know that came up in the All-Star Superman. I don't remember that being in his death. It might have been.
Right. I'm just basing off of the book that I'm reading right now. So they just kind of made a quick mention
I know Doomsday was built on Krypton as like the ultimate weapon kind of deal.
Oh, all right.
I kicked the microphone.
Huh.
So
we'll probably hear that when we edit this.
That's why he was able to fight Superman, because he was built for killing Kryptonians.
Right. Okay. So final thing is our Star Wars episode 1. What the hell are you doing, man? Okay. So recently, actually yesterday, I was watching it with my good friend again, Borno. And because of all the Star Wars is digitally being released, was it yesterday? For 90 fucking bucks, you can get all 6 of them. $20 each. Digital download. I don't know what else to get with it.
That's what I don't get about digital download stuff. Like, they make it $1 a song for songs,
right?
And then you end up paying the same price for a CD. It was $16 for a 16-track CD,
right?
And now they make it $16 to have it digitally. When you don't have the artwork, you don't have the case, you don't have the physical medium,
right?
And now it's $20 for a DVD, and they're going to charge you $20 for the electronic version that you don't have the disc, you don't have the case, you don't have the artwork. Sorry, that was a side rant in this rant.
It's all right. I mean, me and him are like, that is so stupid. Why charge that much where you're not getting anything? You just most likely it's gonna fill up your hard drive. It's gonna fill up your.
You don't
iPad.
get the special features.
Right. Well, apparently this one that you do, but I mean, still, why have files? I'm sorry, my stomach is really bothering me right now. I'm like, ugh. I'm really trying to make it not bother me. So yeah, I watched Star Wars Episode 1. I haven't watched it since I was 7 years old. To kind of make this go a little quicker, I liked it. I didn't like Jar Jar. The one thing that I found really weird, how they made Anakin like a space Jesus.
There is so much I hate about Star Wars Episode 1. But I just told you about it, that I have my own cut of the movie.
Which he does.
It's an hour shorter, and it makes sense. There's some some things I couldn't cut. Some things I sloppily rendered them just because it's not my area of expertise. But there was a scene where I removed Jar Jar digitally, and I had to go through and do that frame by frame. And I'm not I'm not a great graphic artist in that sense. So you see some blurriness and whatnot, but I like it for the fact that it's an hour shorter. It just pumps along. Like I showed you that opening sequence, I have it taking like 3 minutes instead of 20 minutes
Yeah.
to get him down to the planet. And then my Anakin is a good pilot. He's not doing it all by accident because Obi-Wan says, your father was a great pilot when I met him.
Yeah.
And then they go in the first movie and Obi-Wan meets him and he's like, I fly a pod, but I crash. And I accidentally flew a spaceship and blew up the robot overlords. Woohoo, that's pod racing. So in my cut, he's still an annoying little kid, but he's not as annoying.
Right.
And the pod race makes it look like he's a good pilot. Him blowing up the ship makes it look like he's a good pilot. Because that's what they told us about him.
Right.
Unless Obi-Wan was lying and being a dick to Luke. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, your father was a great pilot.
Okay. Yeah, my stomach is really killing me right now, so I think we should end it right here.
He's going to die.
I am gonna die. See you later, guys.